A devastating viral agent is threatening computer systems worldwide. You've been digitized and trapped inside a computer to combat the corruption.
Who is your user?
I am a user.
Security forces see you as a rogue program and are ordered to eliminate you. The true source of the corruption sees you as a threat and wants you permanently deleted. Gamebots and AI see you as their only hope and risk everything to join your mission.
Welcome Co-op, I'm Trae Price, and as you know, this is the show where I and another one of the TimeWasterz hosts take a look at a video game from the past and just give it a little quick reviewish type thing. With me today is my expert on Tron, and always will be, Mr. William Braun. Will, say hello to the people.
Hey there, gents and droids. How y'all doing?
You called them droids. They're not. They're
Star
real
Wars.
people.
Han Solo.
See, now you mislead them, because Star Wars isn't the game we're talking about today. Today,
It is not.
we are talking about Tron 2.0. Give him a little something about. Tell us what the story of this game is.
Well, before I say that, I'd like to say this is probably one of my favorite games of all time ever. So if anyone ever gets the chance to play this game, please do. I can't quite put my finger on what it is that I like the most about it, but I literally play this game at least once a year just to make myself happy. So I adore this game, love the Tron universe, as you all know, and this game is probably one of the best ones I've ever played of anything. So a little bit about the story. Those of you familiar with the Tron universe, it's the story of going into the computer, being sucked in, and exploring the computer universe. So in this particular story, there is a virus that has broken out in the Encon computer labs, which has brought in their I guess their lead designer, I guess would be his name, Alan Bradley, which you'll remember from the original Tron movie, actually in the second movie too. But anyway, so he can't be found, so the main program also pulls in his son, Jet Bradley, who's they don't really give an age, but he's somewhere between like graduating high school, early college-ish age. He's in school, so he's one of those ages. I'm going to go for around 20, give or take, but then again, it's, you know, a little closer to my age, so projecting there a little. But anyway, so he gets sucked into the world via the program itself, also known as Mathria. And he has to combat the virus because Alan Bradley decided that it would be, I forget the exact number that Mathria said, but it would be like 10 times more likely for a user to combat a virus within the computer than from outside the computer, which is one of the reasons you get pulled in. So that's the build-up for it, of you starting off fighting off a virus that's eating your dad's company's mainframe, basically.
Okay.
That sums it up.
What else do you need but you're going in there and you're kicking virus ass, which whenever I get a computer virus, that's what I feel like I should do. You know,
man, I would love to be able to do that.
Exactly. Just go in and handle it yourself instead of doing all that virus protection shit, which never really works.
Of course,
ever.
You know, Geek Squad would become like 50,000 times cooler. Also,
yes.
Just saying, like,
yes, it would.
You have to go to some person's house, go into their computer, and then just start fighting stuff with the disc. I mean, come on.
Saving that later to put in a novel. But anyway, other than that, tell us about some of the characters in the game. What characters you found memorable and all that good stuff.
The thing I love about this game so much is that there's so few characters. Actually, there's not 35 different characters, and you don't have to remember what every single person's name is. You don't remember what every single person's thing is. The list is pretty short for memorable characters. There's Jet Bradley, the son of Alan Bradley. Both are in the game. You play as Jet. There's Mercury, who's this, I would say, super hot female character, but she's also a program. So it's kind of hard to tell if she's hot or not. But anyway.
If you have a hard-on for a computer program, you need either a life or some pussy. That's all I'm saying. Because you can't be just... That goes for the same dudes that be rubbing it up against anime chicks. Like, come on. Come on. I understand that they look awesome too, but still, come on. Making us look bad. Continue.
Mercury's the blue chick.
Oh, you just going to show me a picture of... No, that's not hot to me. That's,
all right.
that's
well,
all
there we
she
go.
is a face and blue armor.
She does have big boobs.
She looks cool,
She's got big
Really?
boobs.
Because she don't even look like she got big boobs.
It's a bad picture.
It's a bad picture of her. This is the worst Facebook pic I've ever seen of her.
I mean, I don't find her
ever.
that hot, but, whatever. She's a female. Jet has a thing for her. So, I mean, it's a thing in the story. It's very small, but actually it's pretty funny because there's a certain point in the game when he asks his father if he can have a screensaver ever. That's kind of funny. Kind of funny. It's
right.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, you don't really want to go into in this whole world, but it's kind of funny to put on that. Anyway, so there's also Mathria, who's kind of like the mainframe of the entire Encom system, more like the I don't really know what program she is, actually. I think she's like the protection program kind of thing, kind of the one that runs everything. So I guess it's kind of the mainframe. Anyway, she kind of follows you around. She's kind of this floating head sort of looking thing, kind of a ball with a face. She follows you around. Then there's also Bite, which if you remember from the original movie, there's a bit which can only talk in yes and no, which is, very computer thing. Well, Bite can actually speak in full sentences because if you know computers, a byte is more advanced than a bit. There's 8 bits to a byte. Yeah, it's the whole thing.
Oh, Trae over here like,
It's all right. It's a thing. One of the things that was always great for just the entire Tron universe, if you can just be the deepest computer geek, and it makes the better story. Actually, the deeper you are into computer geekdom, it just gets better. There's even a part where you have to overclock a system. So you literally have to go into an old mainframe, or you get shoved into an old mainframe, and it can't run Mathria on it. So you have to overclock the entire system, the processor and everything, to be able to even get Mathria on there. So yeah, just the whole storyline thing, super geeky, but if you're into that kind of thing, it's a minor nerdgasm.
Okay.
But it's good.
Is that all for characters? Is that the only characters that you can say that are in there that worth mentioning?
Some of the evil characters, actually. Go through, look at this picture here. The first one that you'll come into contact with, well, actually won't come to him directly, but his minions, is Thorn. And he is the main computer virus who you're fighting against, and you're trying to get rid of all his minions and him. Interestingly enough, Thorn actually used to be a user, and he got sucked into the computer world, and because he didn't have the correction algorithms, basically drove him insane, and he becomes a virus. You do have the correction algorithms, and they become an item that more people want later also, so that they can get into the computer world, and they eventually do get. Correction algorithms, I can see in your face, for those who don't know, and this are the algorithms that, when you get digitized, are the things that make sure that when you come through the computer, you become correctly digitized, instead of coming through kind of as a jumble of data, which is what happened to Thorn, which is why he's insane and trying to kill everything. The other thing you'll see is actually, if you are fans of the original movie, you'll see the guards, the nice red guards and the huge football armor type thing. They do return. They're very, very much nicer looking now. And they start off all hating you, and then later on in the game, they'll actually be your best friend. Which is actually just kind of a cool thing, It's kind of like, you're playing both sides of the field on that. Like, they first think, at one point, they think that you're the source of the corruption and the virus, and then they kind of stop caring about you because they have a bigger threat to worry about.
Right.
Then the other characters are 3 characters in the real world who are, they're not the runners. They're the mob hit squad guys, basically, the guys who come by and break your legs, essentially, of the corporate world.
Do they have Italian accents or New Yorker accents?
Yes.
Seriously?
One's Russian. There's a Russian chick.
What?
Yeah.
Does she say moose and squirrel?
No, sadly.
Damn it. This game gets a fuck you.
No, it doesn't.
It didn't say moose and squirrel.
Well, it does. She does in my head.
They better say, hey, it's a nice program you got here. Be a shame if anything happened to it. Right? That's in there, right?
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah. Let's see. What's between a fuck you and a nerdgasm? Let's go with a...
Fuckgasm?
A fuckgasm. This gets a fuckgasm.
I like
Continue.
it. Okay, so they're there, and they're from... This is actually kind of funny, because you're in the company Encom. They're from FCON, which is Future Industries, something like that. Future something. Anywho, so they're they're kind of taking over Encom, trying to use the whole digitizing system to make their own system monitoring, where they can just go into any computer system anywhere in the world and just steal information and spy on people.
Okay.
So just like a hacking operation, but needing to do digitizing so they can do it personally. And they're able to send in their own people and have super powerful programs that fight against you. So they're a little bit of a pain to deal with, but yeah, they're the main bad guys, I guess.
Okay. So, bam, there are the characters. Let's move on to gameplay style.
Gameplay. This is my favorite part. This is my bread and butter. So, as we go through Tron 2.0, you'll notice that it is all first-person shooter. No third person like in Tron Evolution. Nothing like that. Actually does really well. It kind of has a little bit of a stealth element, it feels like. There's not really like hiding behind anything too much. But you do feel like you're sneaking around and having to kind of stab people in the back a lot. So it does kind of have a stealth element. There's a few times and a few weapons where you do need to sneak, or else you will probably die. So it's kind of nice, that it does throw in the sneak every now and again. Then, of course, it has the high action combat most of the time, as well as puzzles. It has a lot of puzzles. Not many of them are very unique, or not intricate, I guess. But they're intricate enough that if you're not thinking, they could take you a little while.
They're challenging.
Yeah, they're challenging. They're a little bit different from most puzzles that you've seen, too, because, you're dealing with the computer world. You're dealing with stuff you've never seen before, so... they do a good job of that. So they do spread it out a lot. There's a lot you have to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So the basic gameplay, one of my favorite things, because, ingenuity is a big thing with me, is the weapons. And I actually have the game running right here next to myself, so Trae and I can watch. So the weapons of the game, if you're fans of the movie like I am, you start off with your basic disc, which is, it's a Frisbee. You, in my case, right-click because it's for computer. Right-click and it blocks, so when other people are throwing their discs at you, you right-click and it blocks, their discs fly away and eventually come back to them, and they're free to get hit. Pretty awesome. Then, of course, you do your standard left-click and it throws a disc and then it comes back to you. If you click and hold, actually, you can direct the disc slightly. So if you're in a massive area, your disc can just fly all over the place. It's pretty cool. The discs do bounce. Also really fun. We'll get into a little bit more about that when we go into the world. Well, another thing that we can do here is... Oh, I apologize. I pressed the wrong button there.
They can't see you.
That's true. They actually can't see me. That's really nice. Well, the other thing that we have here is there's a certain power-up for it that gives you multiple discs. So you can shoot, I think it's like up to 4 at a time before they start coming back. And I don't like it a lot personally, but it's just kind of cool that, you have your disc. Then, oh no, I'm just going to throw like 4 of them out before they have to come back. And of course, the discs are like one of the most powerful weapons you can get in the whole game. Kind of nice to have, definitely. The other version of the disc that you get is an exploding disc. This is one of my personal favorite weapons, for obvious reasons, because, well, it explodes. So you throw it out, and then you right-click it whenever you want, and it explodes with a ball of magic-y, sparkly goodness that kills people.
And then magically sparkly goodness. I love magically sparkly goodness.
Who doesn't love magically sparkly goodness?
Soccer moms?
Maybe. I don't know. So the other weapon that we have is the rod, not the baton, for those of us who are true fans.
Oh, well, excuse me.
Yeah, oh. I know. I'm like, yes, I am like that. I do prefer to call it a rod because I played Tron 2.0. So the rod, as most of you might know from watching the Tron Legacy movies, the rod is what actually turns into your bike. But it's also a close combat weapon that when you hit it, it's kind of like hitting 2 rods of a defibrillator together and shoots a bunch of electricity. It stuns your opponent and reduces them eventually down to 0 health. Kind of nice.
So it's a baton.
Yes, it is a baton, and it's a useful weapon, especially during the sneak areas. There's a time when you lose your disc and everything except for this weapon. The other version of it is it turns into a shotgun. I'm sorry, what? Yes. There are shotguns in this game? There are shotguns in this game. Okay, see, I was sleeping earlier, but now I'm awake. Yeah, and I apologize that I don't have my speakers plugged in right now, but they actually make cool sounds. Kind of sound. Yeah. I know I butchered that for those of you who actually played the game. So then the other thing that we have is, of course, wouldn't be right without a sniper rifle.
I'm sorry. What?
Yes, the game has a sniper rifle, and if you have the
Fuck a disc. I'm going in there gunning.
I know, right? If you have the we'll go into these a little bit later, but if you have the right program with it, oh, wrong one. You can zoom up to 3 times and still fire.
God damn.
Yeah, and it's as you level it up, we'll go into level up system a little bit here too. But again, it's actually pretty powerful. It's pretty fun to use. You actually need the sniper probably more than most weapons. Outside of your standard disc, it's probably the most used gun I've ever used. So our third one here is what's called the ball, which is
aptly named because it's
just
a
little ball. It's
Yeah.
actually it's a weapon from the infected or the corruption. So what happens is you throw this little ball here, and it kind of sits around and it explodes. It's basically just a grenade. If you do the right click, it also sticks onto walls and stuff. It's kind of cool, kind of fun. I think I just shot myself. I did. Yeah, that was my fault. I have a thing on here where it's a corrosion. It does damage over time, so I kind of damaged myself over time. So that was unfortunate. Hit myself with the ball. A little bit of a problem, a little bit of backfire, but it is basically just the grenade. So the other form of it here is, I believe this is the Drunken Dims.
The what now? The Drunken Dims.
Drunken Dims. Yes, it's
right.
Drunken Dims. And this is, it's kind of like, I'll just try to describe it here. It's like you're holding a ball with tentacles wrapped around your arm. So anyway, you shoot this, and it spirals. Oh, I'm sorry, I have the ball launcher.
So
There we
this
go.
is hentai.
A little bit.
Hentai.
All right, here's the Drunken Dims. It's kind of like holding a ball with 5 tentacles sticking out in front of you.
So what we need to do in this game next is find a Japanese schoolgirl, and then we proceed to make this fun.
Yes, except in this case it would blow them up because when you shoot it, it actually shoots several smaller balls, kind of like
man,
a shotgun.
All I'm saying is you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs.
I actually agree with you there. I don't know. Yep. Okay.
You just had to give me that stare. Why?
I didn't know what to do from there.
Exactly.
So anyway, you shoot this gun. It's like very slow moving grenades, like 4 of them or so, and they kind of move in a random direction. It's an okay weapon. All the ball ones are okay. They're kind of situational. There's the ball launcher, which is actually kind of nice. It shoots a few balls, smaller ones, in a spiral pattern. It's rather akin to a rocket launcher.
Okay.
I guess they're a little bit faster moving, but it's
everybody here just need to say
weapon.
akin.
Yeah,
college boy.
I like akin. It's a
akin.
good word.
Who the hell says akin? It's Aiken.
All right,
it's like Clay Aiken.
Now we're going to move on to the mesh, which is my personal favorite, even though the first one isn't that great. The mesh is an assault rifle, I guess you would call it. Be the closest. Yeah, it's highly inaccurate. Highly weak.
Highly purple.
Highly purple, yes. It's not that great. I'm definitely going to talk about the looks of all these here in just a little bit because Tron Universe is just beautiful. But I want to do it all at once. So it's an okay weapon. Second weapon, alright, check this bad boy out. You put on this glove that has like these claws sticking out and it's all purple and glowy.
So you're a Tron Freddy Krueger.
Yes, you are a Tron Freddy Krueger. And let me see if I can find a guy real quick. I don't think I can. Oh, no, there's a guy here. So what you do is you run up to a guy and you grab him and it sucks their energy from them while killing them. And then boom, he dies, he goes down. Bing, bang, boom.
Somebody's fucking you up, by the way.
Huh? Oh, I'm good. Don't worry. Just go through this door here. Well, the next weapon is probably the greatest weapon I've ever seen in my entire life. The prankster bit. This one is a very spiky looking thing, and you shoot it, and it creates a black hole, basically. And it sucks everything into it. They all die, they all explode, and then you get their energy health thing, and yeah, game over for them.
That's kind of damn cool.
Yeah.
Anything with black holes is okay in my book.
It's the Tron version of a black hole. It's actually pretty awesome. And you fire it once, and anything at all in the area, even if they're not getting sucked in by it, they're still taking damage. And it's just...
So it's an area effect weapon.
It's a very area effect. It's kind of overpowered, but it is balanced in the fact that it takes a lot of energy to use.
Okay.
So, it's balanced. But anyway, those are all the weapons.
Awesome.
So yeah, there's only 16 weapons, which you'd think, it doesn't sound like that much. It's actually a lot.
Do you
It's actually
get
more
it
than most games.
like? Does it give it out to you all at once, or is it like do you get it over the course of the game?
You get it over the course of the game. It's actually really nice. It's very well balanced the way to do it. So you start off, the disc, the rod, the ball, and the mesh are all what are called primitive weapons.
Mm-hmm.
They're the basic weapons, and they're okay basically, and the rest are all upgrades basically.
Okay.
So you start off, you do get the disc, you get the mesh early on too, but you lose it right away too, so it's So you start off, you get the disc, then you lose your disc, and you get a rod, then you get your disc back, and then later you get the ball, and then later on you get the mesh.
Okay.
And then you also start getting the upgrades as well periodically. Right? You don't get the prankster bit, the black hole creator, till the very end of the game, which is a little bit sad. You have like 2 levels to use it. Kind of wish you'd get it a little bit sooner, but
I mean,
would make it overpowered.
It'd make replayability. I can't talk tonight.
Replayability, yeah.
Yeah, it would make it really fun to go see, just raise hell throughout the game all over again, and just fuck people up.
Yeah, well, when you restart the game, you do start over from the very beginning. You don't save anything.
Wait, so you don't? It doesn't. There's not like a new game plus.
No, it's once the game ends, the game ends.
Fuck this game.
Yeah, it's a story thing, but yeah.
Fuck this game.
If you are enjoying it though, if you're like me, they do have light cycle racing. They have a lot of light cycle racing. I enjoy light cycle racing a lot, especially the way they do it here, because kind of a little bit sad that they put in power-ups, but at the same time kind of not. Wrong area. Oh well, loading up different areas here, sorry. They have light cycle racing. It's pretty awesome, actually. Kind of fun to do. So yeah, that's the thing. So also through the Tron universe, it's not like most games where when you get a new weapon, it's just there, and then you're just kind of going through grabbing ammo for it or anything like that.
Right.
All your weapons actually just use energy, which you just have this pool for. And the upgrades, actually, this is kind of cool, because all the programs that you get, which are pretty much everything except for your primitive weapons, there's 3 types of programs you can get. There's combat, utility, and defense. The defense ones are generally, like armor, that kind of thing. Utility is stuff like, jumping higher, doing more damage with primitive weapons, being able to zoom in at any time. And then the actual combat ones are your other weapons, like the shotgun and the exploding disc, the sniper rifle, things like that. And each of the programs have 3 different levels. There's an alpha, a beta, and a gold. And of course, the alpha being the lowest and gold being the best. And of course, is the most powerful. And I'm going to try to explain this as best as I can. In each different level, there's a ring. When you pull up your menu, there's a ring, and there's spaces that are open on the ring. Now, these spaces that are open are where you put your programs.
Mm-hmm.
And each program type has a different size. So if you have an alpha program, it takes up 3 spaces, a beta takes up 2, and a gold takes up 1. In this particular level that I pulled up, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 13 spaces spread out differently. There's a space for 1, there's 3 spaces for 2, and then there's 6 spaces altogether. So in this level, you can have there's a space where you can only have a gold or a gold level program of any kind. So if you don't have a gold program, you're kind of wasting space there. And then there's, on the 6th space, I could put 2 alpha level ones, or I could put 3 beta level ones. So it's kind of, you can't take all of your stuff that you get and put it on. You have to pick and choose what things you want, what things you want to use. And it changes for every level, the size of what things you can put on and how many, which is kind of cool. So every level you have to rearrange your stuff, figure out what you want to put on, what you don't want to put on. It's kind of a fun little thing. It might sound a little bit annoying, but I enjoy it. Additionally, with that, there is a little bit of an RPG level up type system with it. You gain what's called build points, and it works towards your version number. Whenever you increase your version number, so once you get 100 build points, you get to level up your health, energy, weapon efficiency, transfer rate, or processor. I'll get into those last 2 here in a second. Health is your health. Energy is your energy for weapons. Weapon efficiency is how much your weapons cost. Transfer rate is how much you what's called download packages and things. It's essentially like picking up weapons, picking up items, picking up keys. You get them all from these things called storage bins. And it takes time because, of course, this is the computer world, so you don't just pick things up. You have to download it.
Of course.
You have
that
to store
makes
it.
so much sense.
I know, doesn't it? So in order to download all this stuff, of course, it takes a little bit of time. So if you are where I always am, which is not putting anything into transfer rate, any basic program or key essentially takes somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 10 seconds at the most, so not too long. Processor is for sometimes you'll download programs that you don't know what they are. Sometimes you'll get like corrupted bits, which is getting in contact with the infected, or disinfecting, which is some of your programs can become corrupted, so you have to clean them. And the processor, your level in processor increases how fast those go. Sorry, they really don't take long. They're kind of not worth it. So those are your 5 things. Sorry that you do. Additionally, the way that you get higher level programs is you can either find higher level ones and download them, or you can go to this little thing called a optimizer, which you go up to it and you stick one of your programs in there. So right now I have a beta triangulate, which is the one that lets me zoom in. Stick it in there, and now I have a gold level. So instead of it taking up 2 spaces, it now takes up 1. And now my sway is reduced by 90% instead of, I believe it was 75 before. And my zoom is 3 times instead of 2. So it upgrades. And there's about 1 of these per level. So you really have to pick and choose which one you want to upgrade and which one you don't. I don't have it quite as bad now because I've played this game a jillion times. But there is nothing more frustrating than using one of these guys and then later on the level or early on in the very next level, you find out that you get what you just made like for free, basically, by just downloading it somewhere. So it can be a little bit frustrating, but it's not too bad because generally, by the end of the game, you can't get everything up to gold, I don't think. You can get most things up to gold. You start downloading a lot of gold ones just off the bat already. That's it for the level ups, at least. It's a really fun system, actually. I really like it a lot. And then, of course, there's the light cycles, which actually allow me to go to the light cycles really quick. There's a few parts in the story where you do have to go to the light cycles. It's like twice. But then when you go out of the game, there's an entire light cycle thing. It's like playing any kind of racing game. There's a bunch of different circuits you can play, and they all have different types of requirements and things that go with it. Like just picking this one off the bat, Concept Revenge. Any type of light cycle is permitted. No super light cycles, which is also a new thing. Added in super light cycles, super fast. You get 6 lives, and there's 3 waves. That's it. And say maybe I want low level crunch instead. Only blue light cycles are permitted, but you can have a blue super light cycle. 4 lives, 2 waves. So we'll say we're going to go that one. We'll pick our light cycle. And the way they do it here is you start off, you get the blue light cycle and the blue super light cycle, which is much faster. And then as you go higher and you get better ones, their speed is actually determined by their color. I believe the next one after blue is red. I could be wrong. The highest one I think is purple.
Okay.
If you get a purple super light cycle, you're flying.
Yeah, man.
Custom play, you can put on your own mod, or not mods, but things, your own power-ups and stuff, whatever you want to play. So we'll just go into it really quick. So we'll say we want to play this one. Yeah, sure. We'll pick up blue light cycle. So it loads up, and if you remember, my favorite scene from the entire Tron movie is the first time they go into the light cycles. You hear the light cycles revving up. You see them like bending down with the rods out, and just the light cycle generates all around them, and they just zip out of there like nothing. And I'm so happy because they put that into the game. They put in my favorite scene of the entire movie into the game. So every time you start off on a light cycle, you get to hear it revving up. You're shooting out. There's a light trail behind you, and I'm so happy.
I mean, I'm gonna need you to calm down if I have to give you tissues and take the lotion out the room.
Yeah,
you're a little too excited right now.
You might be a little late for that, honestly. So of course, if you remember from the movie, light cycles do turn on only 90-degree angles. So the object is to get your opponent to get crashed into a wall. Plain and simple. Not much else to it. They have They've added in things like speed zones where, when you hit them, your light cycle goes faster. They had some power-ups that kind of fun. Oh, I just crashed into a guy and died. Oh, we crashed into each other. Well, that's cool, I guess. Anyway.
So, seems kind of basic.
It's pretty basic,
cycles.
but it's super fun. Different levels. Your light cycle trail will be shorter or longer. There's one, it's called Green Hornets. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Because your light cycle trail is only about maybe twice as long as your light cycle. And you have to crash people into it.
Okay.
It's next to impossible. Yeah, it's the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. Because I've never beaten it. So yeah, there's a lot of gameplay here. There's also multiplayer. Which I tried like once. It's okay. It's just disc battles. Which is...
You can't do light cycles in multiplayer?
Oh, you can, yeah, sorry.
Okay, I was gonna say, that's...
You can, but...
That'd be weird.
Yeah, they have the disc battles are okay. Because all it is you each have a disc. You can have certain power-ups that they have in the game. But it's all just, It's pretty much just block your guy's disc and throw your disc at him.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, last but not least, tell us about the look of the game. Just tell us, like, graphical, because I know me, if I go back and play an old game, most of the time what stops me from enjoying the game is it looks old. I'm spoiled by the new. What about this game? From me looking at it right now, it doesn't look that bad, actually. I mean, if you take it, it's based on the old Tron movie. If you like how that looked, and if you're a very good fan of the old Tron movie, if you have that cult classic in your heart, then you definitely won't hate this game. That's from my point of view, though.
You'll adore this game as much as I do. Right now, I'm at the place where you're actually online. You're on the internet right now. So, of course, it's a huge, massive area. They do a really good job of making their areas massive. Like, just to show you, in most games, if you come from a game developer, after a certain point, you hit a skybox, something where it's just a picture of a sky, and you don't actually go any further. I don't actually think this game has that. I really think that this is an infinite amount of space, because right now I'm looking up into the air quotes sky, and I am going to do where I click and hold my disc when I shoot it and kind of direct it a little, and it will fly and just keep going. And going and going and going and going and going.
All right, we get it.
Yeah, and it's not gonna. It doesn't ever return. It just magically appears back to you because it's so far. So that's kind of cool. Like they do a good job of making the areas feel huge, making them feel very epic, I guess. Making you feel very much like you're high up. You have to watch your step and sneak around, kind of that whole sneaking feel again. It's very much the same as the original movie, but a little bit more colorful. They add a lot more colors in. They like to keep all the borders nice and bright. You honestly don't notice the low graphics until you really look at something close up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it looks kind of.
And that's
I wouldn't go so as extreme to say, hey, it looks like a current generation console game, but it's not that good. But it still looks good. It looks better than like PS2 era.
Yeah, it's
somewhere in between.
It's a very, very solid, not only a solid art style, but it's just a very solid look. You don't need a lot of detail to make this look the way it is, because if it's all based on solid objects anyway. The entire universe is based on solid objects and lights, and it's really the lights that are the details. So you can do things like having these little consoles that really don't have a lot of detail in them, but from a distance, they look really computery, and they just look really nice.
Yeah.
Let me load up one really quick if I can find it really quick. Oh, there's the Power Oculus. I'm just going to talk a little bit while
just tell us about it. Tell us about it.
There's the Power Oculus where you have to align a lens, and there's 4 parts of the lens that align. So you have to get them right. Oh, here we go. Yeah, fun little puzzle thing. So go into the puzzle in the big area. This area, you have this time thing, and there's a bunch of these platforms in this large circular room that are all going up and down at different times. So you have to jump from one to the other as they're going up and down on kind of this makeshift path that goes through. And some of these are going very fast, and it's quite nerve-wracking when you realize that the speed that you're going and the speed that you have to go to get to where you're going. Right now I have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to do this part, and I think I'm going the wrong way.
Right, but it looks good, because that's what the section we're on. Gameplay. So is that all that you can say for like the look of the game? Like that, because it looks good.
it looks
Pretty much
great. It's just like it's hard not to say anything other than just it looks really good.
Cool.
It keeps very true to the old
Tron
art
series.
style.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So let's give it the good old wrappy up. The final conclusion, the end all be all.
Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry.
What do you give this game?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 5 point scale. I've actually
10 out of 5.
Right, hold on. Rating system that we have now, I've just now thought of it while I was making a sandwich, is fuck this game, bad, good, awesome, and nerdgasm.
Nerdgasm.
You give it a nerdgasm?
I give it a nerdgasm. I mean, I may be slightly biased because I do love the Tron universe.
Yeah.
All right, more than slightly biased. But even if I have to look at this game objectively, it does enough things differently than the mainstream stuff, and it gives you enough variety of gameplay that I truly do believe that this is a great game all around, because it's not just a first-person shooter. It's not just an RPG. It's not just a sneaking game. It's not all of it. It mixes it up and does them individually at separate times, but enough that you get satisfied of one. Then you have to go to the other until you're satisfied of that. Then you have to go to the next and satisfied of that. It does a good job. It's solid. I think I've run into like one bug in my however many years of playing this game, like 8 years or something. It's been a ridiculous amount of time playing this game. We're in like one bug.
Okay.
So it's solid. It's good. There's a lot of ingenuity in this game that I'm kind of sad hasn't carried over at other places. There's just a lot that comes from it. There's a lot of things that I wish other games would do. I wish they would make a sequel to this one and not the Tron Evolution one that they had.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one.
Yeah, they really need to do a sequel of this game. Look at the things that are great in this game. And just the things that come from it, too. Like, even some of the basic storyline ideas of the correction algorithms. Awesome idea.
Yeah.
You have to have this one algorithm that makes it so that when you come into the computer world, you're not batshit crazy. And that's, something to look into. And then other places, too. Because you go everywhere from being in a mainframe to a, PDA to an old mainframe to another server. There's tons of places you can go, and there's tons of places you do go. Okay. So I feel like in a sequel, there's so much that you can do. Really is.
Well, you heard it from here. This is Tron 2.0. Now it's only on the PC, so no console, no digital download or anything like that. Maybe, do you know if this could be on Steam or not?
It's not. I've checked. I actually would like to have it in my Steam library, but
I'd say look on Amazon, look on eBay. If you would like to play this game, Will really greatly recommends it.
I do.
From my point of view, it looks somewhere between a good and an awesome. I give it a gossam. But, I haven't really played the game firsthand. This is just from looking at it a little bit. So, you've heard us. We've talked. We're done. If you have any game recommendations that you would like us to play, please send them to TimeWasterz07@gmail.com. That's TimeWasterz@gmail.com. 07@gmail.com. TimeWasterz07@gmail.com. I always forget the 07.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
@gmail.com.
And hopefully soon, just putting that out there. Now that we got a new place and everything, we're putting up a video Tron 2.0 a little bit too.
Don't be saying things that could never happen.
I want to do it.
Don't say.
I'll do it by myself.
Alrighty then. You heard it from Will.
Be looking
not from me.
Be
looking for it from Will. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Trae D. Price. This is Will Braun. We are out.
Peace out.
This August, upgrade the action, download the destruction, enter the age of the digital warrior. Upgrade to Tron 2.0. Only for PC. August 26th, 2003. Rated T for Teen.